Hey there, Steve here, Wilderness 333, and Happy New Year. I'm back out here in my backyard. It's been about 3 weeks since I filmed a video, and it's so good to be back here. I spent like the last 8 or 9 days in a hotel for a conference, and oh man, fresh air outside. It's not to be taken for granted. But anyway, I wanted to do a video today. I'm in my backyard. And there's just a number of things when I think about the outdoors, when I think about bushcraft, that I have some thoughts on. I'm titling this Thoughts on the Backyard Fire. Because a backyard fire is something I do a lot. I come out here pretty frequently. My house is literally 10 feet that direction. I have a little patio. And for those of you who have the ability to maybe have a little fire pit, and do a fire in your backyard or wherever, there's just a ton of advantages to it, and I thought I'd go through some of those and some of my thoughts and what I've learned and things I love about the backyard fire. For one, it's just given me a huge opportunity to practice and to learn a lot of my skills with fire and with wood. And I wouldn't exactly call it dirt time. I'm not in the dirt, I'm in my backyard, but it's just being here and being able to practice in the comfort of my home or where it's here, and if anything goes wrong, I'm set. Even if I cut myself, you don't want to cut yourself out there and learn how to use a knife properly or a hatchet properly. If you're going to cut yourself in your backyard, first aid is right inside the door, and the hospital is a heck of a lot closer. But one of the things I've loved about the backyard fire is as I sit here, I've learned how to process wood differently, and there's lots of ways you might want to process wood to kind of determine which size fire you want. If it's just me by myself, often I don't need a very big fire just to keep me warm. I might come out here for a half hour and just sit by the fire. It doesn't need to be very big. But learning how to use my hatchet, learning how to baton wood, learning how to manage the time of a burn, learning how to different stacks, how I might stack wood differently. All those things I've learned kind of in the comfort of being back here. And there's another huge reason I'll get to real quick, but I want to talk real fast about wood and wood prep. So some of these things might be super obvious, but when you're in your backyard, you're probably not dealing with a lot of fresh wood that you found like you would if you were out in the woods, but you deal with the wood that you get from the store. And this is great wood to learn how to work with because, I don't know, it's already been cut for you. But man, I first started doing fires, there's a few things that if nobody would have told me or showed me, I actually wouldn't know. So sometimes this stuff seems obvious, but I thought I'd share it for those of you who might not know it. But this is how a log comes in the package I buy, and I would find I just had to throw it in the fire. And sometimes I got a way bigger fire than I needed. But actually, you know, with the knife or with the hatchet, I've learned you can cut this down and get to smaller wood that can keep you a little bit more manageable fire. And what's cool is if you cut a piece down like that, you get these longer pieces, kind of like this, which is great. And you can manage your fire that way. But over time I found that these were even a little bit too long. And the cool thing is you can cut them even smaller, like this. This is about half that size. I cut those in half just using the hatchet. And what I got is a whole ton of little wood that'll last me a long time. It's not going to give me a huge fire, but it's give me a fire that will keep me warm, let me sit out here outside and do stuff. And really, over time, what I've learned is how to baton better, how to make shavings better. Sometimes I can even make shavings inside. What knives work better? I have a lot of different knives. Which ones are going to make shavings better? Which way can I use a ferro rod best? Of my hatchets, what's the best way to cut wood down smaller and smaller? And even back here, as a fire dies, and blowing on it and getting it oxygen and finding out what's the best way to bring a fire back to life. And those are all huge things I've learned as I've been out here in the backyard fire. And there's one more kind of thing I want to talk about that I almost think is more important for the backyard fire that I thought I'd share. So I'll do that here in a sec. I guess one last thing I wanted to share about in the backyard fire is just, I don't know, it's a little bit more philosophical, but it's just the sense of being outside, hanging out by a fire. When it comes to bushcraft survival skills, most of you probably enjoy the fire the most. If it's not the most, it's top 2 or 3. Fires are great. I mean, in a survival situation, they're key, but just to be around them is awesome. And I've mentioned this before, but just the idea of community that's built around a fire, being here just in quiet is just so great. Like, to grow as a person, to be outside, to be alone, contemplate a little bit. I swear, I came out here last night, need a little break. I made a teeny little fire and just sort of sat in silence and thought about things. Where are the areas I want to grow in as a person? Where are the areas I want to grow in professionally? What are the areas I want to grow in spiritually? All those sort of things. It's different, for me at least, and I think probably for most of you, than just being inside, sitting at the coffee table or whatever, but being able to come outside, kind of be a little bit silent, hear the crackling of the fire. Most of you love that, I know, from all my interactions with you. But it's a great time, and you can really manage. I mean, let me show you this fire. But I mean, this little bad boy is pretty small. And using my little stack of wood there, I can make this go for a long, long time as I sit out here, which I'm going to do right now, and just chill and think about things. So, you know, the fire is just a great opportunity to do that. I'm probably all cattywampus there. But, and even just having friends back here, you know, I mentor a number of guys in our job, and I'll have them back here. Just having a great conversation, talking to them, seeing how life is going, done around a fire. And, you know, a lot of times it's better maybe to be out in the woods, but I can't get there every day. We don't have the time, maybe, or the energy or whatever to do that. We have jobs, we have stuff we have to do, but in the backyard, it's a great thing. So learning how to use my tools, learning how to process wood, learning how to best build a fire, learning how to use my ferro rod, and just being alone. All great reasons that I just love. And those are my thoughts on the backyard fire. It's a great thing. You can get a little fire pit like this. Man, I've seen them on Black Friday specials for around 30 bucks, so you can get them $40, $50. And it'll serve you well. Great time just to hang out and grow in your skills, enjoy life, do stuff with fire. Alright guys, well that's my thoughts on the backyard fire. Hope it's insightful or fun, and maybe some of you knew all this before, maybe you didn't. I have a bunch of new subscribers over Christmas break. I'd like to thank all of you. Thanks for subbing. Hope you enjoy my stuff, and I'll be back again soon with some more thoughts. Thanks.